Well, Congressman Mitchell, what a surprise.
I know you're shocked.
I am.
Can I borrow that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. In case some of you are wondering, Dan Lauwers and I have done a number of these events together. We show up at the same place. I know it frightens us a little bit. And I made a really serious mistake earlier this summer. I introduced Dan as our next state senator. He looked at me and said, well, I haven't decided to do that. I haven't announced yet. I felt a little silly about that, but I decided, it made a lot of sense to have Dan be our next state senator from this district. So the next time, I forgot what that was, I decided I was going to stick with the theme. What the heck, once you do it once, you might as well do it again. So I introduced Dan one more time as the next state senator. He again said, well, I'm not sure I'm going to do that yet. I said, well, we're going to keep trying. So I've decided to commandeer introducing him. Actually, Bob knew about this, by the way. And to introduce, I want you to help me, because apparently we need to convince Dan that he is going to be our next state senator. So if you all join me in welcoming Dan Lauwers and tell him to run for the state senate, because we do need him. Come on, state senator, let's go. Do I need to twist your arm?
No.
Okay.
All right. We'll make it official. Thank you, Paul. Now that I've got Kelly's complete blessing and got her here in public so you can all witness it, I would like to announce my candidacy for state senator. So thank you, Paul. And any of you know me know that none of this was ever in the plan. You know, I was having a real good life running a grain elevator in Emmett before any of this stuff started. But Carter would know that Bill Schuette, once you work for a congressman, there's something that happens. Someone asked me one day if you felt that you owe Bill Schuette something. I said, no, he owns me. You don't owe him anything. Bill called me up one day and said, hey, I hadn't talked to Bill in probably 10 years. And he said, hey, I'm going to run for Attorney General, and I know you're running a good business in St. Clair County, so I'd like you to deliver the St. Clair County Republican vote. Have a nice day. And that was it. So that's kind of what got me reintroduced to politics. But that's not what I want to talk about tonight, folks. I really want to talk to you about something that Terrence started and Tom continued, and that is the next election. I get to go to these things all the time and talk about policy, and policy is easy. It's just doing the right thing, helping the most right people the best you can. But politics, and I was never one who really cared much for politics, except when politics steps over onto my policy. That's when you get involved, right? I mean, people say, why'd you run? I said, because all our kids were moving out of the state. And I wanted my kids to move out of the state. We had to change policies so they'd have jobs so they could stay here. Any employers in the room? Anyone try to hire anybody lately? What's the two questions employer ask their people today, candidates today? Can you show up tomorrow and can you pass the drug test, right? And it's getting tough to get people to do one or both of those things, especially. But again, what I want to talk to you about is politics tonight, and I'm always brief, so I will be brief. 2018, next year, is an election year. Okay, we have 63 seats of the 110 in the State House today. Okay, Dr. Bizon, a great candidate. Dr. Bizon may run for Senate. If he does, that'll be an open seat. We're going to have a tremendous amount of turnover due to term limits. In the state of Michigan, you get to be a representative if you're reelected 3 times, right? 6 years total. And if you're a senator, you get to have your first and your last term. You get 2. So the turnover in this next election is huge. But that's not really even important. I mean, it's important that we win. It's important that we maintain majority. But what's really important is that we win and maintain majority in 2018 so that in 2020, when we redistrict, we have majority. That's the real key. If we lose majority or we get thin in 2018, we are not setting ourselves up well the way we should for 2020. I know it sounds crazy to think about, what are you talking about, 2 elections away? I never thought about these things before I got elected, I'll tell you that. But now that I understand how the system works, I mean, really, all the good work we've done, okay, we have been paying off the credit card for the last 7 years. You know, we've been reinvesting in the state where it needs to be reinvested. Heck, we've been reconcreting the sidewalks in Lansing, around the Capitol, because they were just plain crumbling apart. If we don't win in 2020, and the lines are redrawn in a fashion that makes it even more difficult to ever regain majority again, all the work that we've done will be lost. And I will feel like the time I gave up from my business and from my family to do this stuff will be wasted. So I am very committed to making sure that we not only win strong in 2018, but 2018 sets us up for a win in 2020, because that is the next 10 years of elections. By then, it'll be somebody else's job, right? Shane, somebody, they can, John, you guys can do it, Congressman. But I'll be out of office by then. I'll be completely termed out. So it'll be someone else's job. But I really want you people to think about that. Keep that in your mind. Understand how important it is to elect good candidates and make sure that we don't let up off the gas pedal on this thing, and how important 2018 is as our setup for 2020. And that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. Thank you. What's that?